Okay, here we go. Shout out Mr. Asian Rice at Twitter. Just kidding. Okay. My apologies. All right, boys, so let's have a look at this question. So there's a lot of bits to this question, so it's a pretty long one to do. The cost of laying new lawn in a paddock is $20 per square metre. Determine the cost of laying new lawn in the paddock below by first determining the values of the unknown per numerals. So lots of things. First thing we've got to do is figure out the value of those two missing bits. And then once we've done that, we have to figure out the area of the whole thing. So the area of one triangle and the area of the other triangle, add them together. Once we've got the area, then we need to multiply it by 20 to figure out the cost. Okay? So first thing, I'm going to start with this triangle here because that's a right angle triangle. It's pretty easy to work with. So I can figure out that side length x quite easily. If I'm looking at this angle, 27 degrees, and I label the sides of my triangle, this would be the opposite side, this would be the adjacent side, this would be the hypotenuse. So I'm working with values for the opposite side and the hypotenuse. So if we know that, we know we're using the opposite and hypotenuse, yep, we know we have to start by using sine ratio, okay? So sine of 27 is equal to 16 over x. So we can use our class pad. Let's make it a bit bigger. Okay, and it's handy, guys, to get used to using the e-activities. So if we go into e-activity, I'm just using sine. Okay, so I know the size of the angle is 27 degrees. I know the opposite side is 16, and I'm solving for the hypotenuse, so I'll highlight that, click solve. Okay, 35.24 if I'm going to two decimal places. So x is equal to 35.24. Fantastic. Now that I've got x, I should be able to figure out y. And just looking at what I've got, now I know what x is, I know this side, I know this angle, and I'm looking for this. So I think we're going to have to use the cosine rule for this one. The way I know that is I've only got one angle and three side lengths. Or my other option would be to find out the value of this angle. Now that's going to be 27. Yeah, the way we can work that out is we've got parallel lines running here and here. Okay, and they're just alternate angles. Yeah, separated by that transversal there. So if I know that angle, that might make things a bit easier. 27 degrees. So now I could go this side over sine of this angle is this side over sine of this angle. So I could use the sine rule. All right. So if I set it up, now if we go back to the sine rule, which one is better? I'm finding a missing side length. Okay, this version of the formula is better to use when I'm finding a missing side length. Excuse me. So I'm going to have, I'll do this one in blue, so y over sine of the opposite angle to that is 27. It's going to be equal to x over sine of 48. Now x I know is 35.24 because we just worked that out. Over sine of 48 degrees. So again, I can use my class pad, and this time I'll use sine rule. Okay, now I need to be careful with my labeling. So I'm going to call this side side A. So I'm going to label that side A, which means this is capital A, and this is going to be lowercase b and uppercase b. So when I fill in those, A is already done for me. Angle A is 48. Small side B is the thing I'm solving for, so I'll leave that blank. And uppercase B is 27 degrees. So I'll highlight little b, solve 21.53. So if y equals, is that right? 5.3 if I'm going to, yeah, rounding. 21.53. Okay, so now I've figured out these two bits. Next I need to work out the area of both triangles. Okay. So I can actually work out this angle here as well, because together they would make a right angle. So that would need to be, what, 63 degrees, is that right?
Yeah.
Yep, I think that's right. Yeah, yep. So if I know that angle, I can pretty easily work out the area of this triangle. Just get rid of some of the markings here. So my first triangle, I can use our formula A equals half AB sine C, that formula. Okay, and I can use this side as side A still, this side as side B, and this as capital C. So to work out the area of the triangle, I'll go back to the E activity, and area of a triangle. Okay, I don't know what the area is. Side A is already in there. Side B, in this case, is going to be 16. Angle C was 63 degrees. So I solve for the area. That's 251.19. And that's in meters squared. And then area of the second triangle. Again, I'll use that same formula, half AB sine C. But this time, yeah, I'm going to leave that as side A. This can be side B, and this can be angle C over here. So area I don't know. A is the same. B is 45.8. Angle C this time is 27 degrees. So the area of that second triangle is 366.37 if we're rounding. Okay, I just need to add those two figures together to get my total area. Okay, so I can copy that one. Just go into main, paste that, add it on to, oops, what was my other figure? I should have copied the other figure too, so I'll just quickly redo that one. That was 16 and 63. Area of my first triangle was that. So I'll copy that, go into main, and add that on. Two areas added together then is 617.56.
Whoa.
Did you get that? Okay, and now the cost was $20 per square metre. So the cost will equal that figure multiplied by 20. Okay, which is $12,351.22. $12,351.22. All right, so long question. So lots in there. Had to work out two missing sides first, then two areas, add them together, then multiply by the cost. Okay. So that's a 5-mark question. So you'd be expected to hopefully answer that in about 5 minutes in a test. All right. So if there's anything that you don't understand or didn't follow, let me know. There's no new skills there. There's nothing we haven't done before. It's just all sort of chucked in together. All right, so keep going. If you find any other tricky questions, this one is quite tricky. So I might work through this one as well. I'll give you guys a second to try it yourself first, and then I'll go through it in a little while. All right. Sure.